50-plus games. And I will tell you the same thing for the Bulls, the same, barring injuries. Now, look, man, if LeBron goes down, Kevin Love goes down, you lose 2 or 3 of your guys on the bench, okay. I completely disagree. How in the world do I just see a comment in the chat room that says they have no depth? That's the only reason that I think this team is going to be able to do what it does, because that's what they do have. They literally have a whole second unit that they can put out there that will still be good enough to beat the starting units of the lower level teams in the Eastern Conference, which there's still a bunch of. Don't forget. While everybody, anyways, that's my thoughts of it. But yeah, so no, it's not. I disagree, Charles. That is not in any way counting the chickens before they're hatched. I mean, listen, you will be talking about the biggest, most epic boondoggle failure in the world if you're talking about this team not making the play. I mean, that's not reality. That's not even in the reality of it. But there's a huge difference, and that's the backside of it that I don't think some of the fans realize, is that once you do get to reality, once you get through the regular season, that you start a whole new set of questions that need to be answered about yourselves. And that is when we'll dig in and we'll watch some basketball being played. I'm not saying this team's not going to lose. They're going to do what good teams in the Eastern Conference do. They're going to lose 15 to 20 games. They're going to maybe 25, depending on, they're going to be somewhere in that, like I said, 50, 55, 60. That's just the nature of the beast. It happens every year. Like I said about Miami, they were the ultimate front runners, man. They'll go 50-50 against the good teams, and they'll play those tough games, and then they'll beat the Sixers by 50 points. And those are the highlights that litter the NBA highlights all season long. It's just the way it is. So it doesn't mean you don't get fun. Doesn't mean you don't enjoy it. I liken the regular season as the circus. Touring America. Going to take its couple of stops in every town, 2 stops in every city. It's like Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey. It's come and see the stars. Here comes the triple-headed monster of the Cavaliers making their 1 stop in this town, 1 stop in that town. And then when we get done with the touring, then we get down to which teams are really going to battle for it. I mean, it's just the nature of it until you get – this is not the West. The West, completely different. This is not the West. I know that there's young and hungry teams coming. I just don't worry about them in the regular season. Maybe a team like Charlotte wants to buck up to the Cavs and they want to in the playoffs, and then you got one of those series where you're going, wow, Cavs didn't expect this. That's why I hope they actually do have a tough beginning to the regular season, because if they don't, that's a scenario that could happen. But regardless, I'm yapping on and on. Let me get joined by Eddy Jansen, More Than a Fan, Cleveland. Eddy, how you doing here on NBA Tip-Off Cleveland Style?
Oh, boy, Jerry, what an experience already. I mean, I still have about a half-hour ride to get downtown to even get into the Q Arena itself, and already I'm shaking in places that I didn't know I had. So the anticipation for this event, off the charts. I just want to get down there already and go watch the game and go watch LeBron and everybody back in the Cavaliers uniform.
Yeah, that's obviously, like I said, tonight it is what it is. Tonight is for a fun night for the fans. It's a celebration, and I'm all about that, man. But maybe you agree, or you heard what I said leading up to you coming on the air. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree, but that to me is the reality of the NBA that we live in. I mean, I know you can say, well, counting the chickens before they're hatched. If you think that there is a single worry that in the Cavaliers organization that they're not going to make the playoffs, then you're living in a fantasy world. That's not the reality of the talent that they have on the court. There's a difference when we get to April and we start talking about now moving time and who's going to really make the cut. But that's not the discussion for a team like this for the regular season. It is pack up the women and children and come see LeBron when he stops in your town as they win 50, 60 games on their way to the playoffs.
And Jerry, LeBron has made a point of it several times. It's really been a mastermind move by LeBron to kind of downplay the Cavaliers' potential and really put the Chicago Bulls on the hot seat, because really it's not that he's lowering the bar at all. He just wants to be very humble about it And when we originally saw LeBron coming into the league, he was a pretty humble guy for his age coming into the league at 18. But I think he's become even more humble throughout the course of the years, just seeing how difficult it is to win in this league. And not only that, but the parity that exists, in not just in the NBA, but in professional sports as well. I think LeBron and really the rest of the Cavaliers know how important it is to be grounded and to realize how hard it is not just to win on a nightly basis, but to win on a championship level. I think that's one of the things that made the San Antonio Spurs so good, and Coach Popovich had said it several times. They understand the grind better than anybody else in this league. And if LeBron can get that mentality to rub off on your Kyrie Irvings and your Kevin Loves and your Dion Waiters, then watch out, because the talent and the potential is there, but LeBron trying to kindle that and get it more grounded, get it more down to earth, try to get them more personable so that it will help them in the long run and try to win a championship.
Right. And that's part of what I'm talking about, too, is in the locker room when you're, 52 and 30 or whatever your record may be and you're feeling good about yourself, that's when you go, no, we were supposed to win 52 games. If anything, we won, a little less than we should have. This is when the season starts. It's that grind. It's when it gets down to it. And I keep saying where I think this team slips up is not getting run out of the building by a better team or anything like that. They've got talent, and I still say Kevin Love, to me, will be the X factor as far as the true ceiling this year of the team, because if he is what a lot of people thought, which is a guy that will shoot the rock when he gets it, he'll get rebounds, but he doesn't commit to the defense, he's not, all the different things people have said, then I think there's a ceiling to what the Cavaliers can do. I think the more you unlock Kevin Love, I think he's going to be the X factor to what this team can do. But it's when you get down to it, all it takes is 2 seconds at the end of a Game 6 or a Game 7 against Chicago or against San Antonio, where just for 1 second, LeBron and Kyrie have never been in the final minute of a Game 7 together before, and they're in the wrong place and they turn the ball over, and an entire season ends on that one play. That's what you do the whole season for. That's what I mean when I say it doesn't matter. It can literally it all comes down to those minutia moments at the end of the season that's going to determine the true ceiling for this basketball team.
Right, and they have to get to know each other, needless to say, Jerry. I think of all of the team sports out there, basketball probably takes the most positive inertia from you being able to play off of somebody else. That is why teams that play with good chemistry have had so much success in this league in the past. And, I mean, we saw when guys start pointing fingers at each other, we saw the bad results of what can happen. I mean, look at Miami in year one with LeBron, Bosh, and Dwayne Wade starting to point fingers at each other, and they were 9-8, just a game above 500 with a pretty easy schedule to start the season, and it was really disappointing for them, but they fought through it, and they were eventually able to make it to the finals, and I think that the Cavs are going to have to persevere in the same way. I mean, you've got very similar styles in the way that LeBron and Love and Irving like to go about their business offensively. But LeBron, having been there and done that before, knows the sacrifices that they have to make to try to help Kyrie and Kevin Love realize those same things that maybe Wade and Bosh and maybe even LeBron didn't even realize the first time around.
Yeah, that's all going to be part of watching the growth and the maturity of this team. As I continue to see my Twitter here, people working their way towards wrapping up their days, heading downtown, 4 o'clock. All of the festivities begin here, and I'll tell you, I'm gonna be very interested to see. Again, tonight is what it is. I'm not looking to see anything tonight. Tonight's going to be an emotion, filled night. That's going to be what it is. It's going to stand alone, separate. And I'm on record as saying anybody down there will probably, put whatever they see tonight, and I'm not even talking about the game, everything from tip-off previous, will probably go on the list of, wow, I was there the night, the Cavs tipped off the season, because the presentation is going to be beyond anything you guys have seen. Seriously, like, even those of you that didn't get a chance to see the Z stuff last year, it's going another level beyond that even. It's going to be an amazing presentation. I'm one of those guys that I like that for the fans and for the experience and for the casual fan who comes down and has their once or twice a thing experience. I'm old school like Joe Tate. I don't need all the flash and pomp and circumstance. Can we just roll a ball out on the court and play some hoops? It drives me nuts at the Q. Now they've got the super duper Tron. Before, you couldn't have a half a second of silence to think. We quiet in the building. What are you talking about? Play that song, blast that fire, get the dancers out on the floor, throw somebody a T-shirt. It's going to go to a whole nother level this year, which is cool. Like I say, for the casual fan and for the entertainment dollar. But I'm still let's just play some hoops guy. So this is all cool and fun and well for the fans. But I'll be happy when it just gets down to basketball. Game 2 will be just as exciting as Game 1 because you'll have all the buzz out of the way. And then they'll just be playing ball.
And, Jerry, I don't really think that we're going to learn too much about the Cavaliers here in their Game 1 performance tonight. Not only that it's just the first game of the regular season and the beginning of a new era, but you have to look at who's coming into town. I mean, you've got a New York Knicks team that got blew out by the Chicago Bulls by 24, and Chicago's best player, arguably Derrick Rose, only scored 13 points. So, I mean, the Cavs are going to be facing a team that really won't test them too well in the post. They got some injuries at some of their guard positions. I don't think Jose Calderon is going to play tonight. He was out for the game last night. So, if the fans are looking for the Cavs to essentially win their championship tonight, right now, it's just not going to happen. We have to take a step back from this and just soak in the moment and soak in the fun of it and enjoy the ride ahead, because it's the ride ahead is what we are looking forward to, not just the here and the now. And I think that the Cavaliers realize that. LeBron realizes that. Kevin Love realizes that. Irving realizes that. They finally have some expectations, and you don't think of expectations in the current, you think of it in the future, and that's what they're looking forward to. That's what I'm looking forward to, and from the sounds of it, that sounds what you are looking forward to as well, Jerry.
Oh yeah, man. Listen, at the end of the day, man, I'm all about Cleveland. I love the Cavs. I sat through dozen game losing streaks and everything else that goes through it, man. And that does trip me out a little bit because the press box is a lot more full. Not so much the fan bowl, because they were coming when the Cavs were losing, but there's sure a whole lot of two-faced media in town that remember Cleveland has a basketball team all of a sudden that sure couldn't be bothered with Cavs hoops for the last few years. But you know what? Everybody loves a winner. Everybody loves a front runner, I guess, man. So going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. I love, like I said, Cavs hoops. I would love this team every bit as much if, who wasn't trotting out there with them, but he is, and that makes some people more excited. I think it's going to be a great environment tonight. I expect them to probably have to delay the start of the game because I really do expect one of those 5-minute standing ovation type deals. Cavs are already planning the world's largest group photograph here tonight. There's rumors of a 20 billion megapixel group photo of all the fans in the building at the moment of LeBron James' re-arrival into the queue. So as I said, for an event / experience, tonight will probably be top 5 on most people's lists who were there tonight. So from that aspect, more power to it. I see the latest update, the LeBron banner officially up. This thing is every bit as ginormous as the Megatron coming up in the building. Of course, LeBron with the Cleveland on the back of his jersey there. And I will say this, on top of the Cavaliers stuff on the court, I've mentioned it, the in-game, not in-game because it's in-arena presentation of what they've put together at the Q, which, by the way, before we pat the Cavs and Dan Gilbert on the back, let's just remember that we paid for that. Like, that was Syntax money. Oh, how are we going to spend the Syntax money? Well, let's juice up the scoreboard and stuff at the Q. But that's going to bring some more things in outside of basketball over the next few years, some different types of concerts and things that are going to bring some cool stuff into the economy and into the area. So I'm a big fan of all the things that they've added that you guys are going to get to see presentation-wise tonight, because that's not just cash.